it that we are going to remove all of the sugar products and even all the grains that turn into sugar from our food regimen? Because our bodies can only afford 5 grams of sugar in our bloodstream at any given time, which is about 1 teaspoonful of sugar at any time. And anything above and beyond it, our bodies see as an emergency that can cause coma and death. And you have probably noticed that a lot of foods and a lot of packaged food and candy bars and drinks and juices that we drink during the day or we eat during the day, they have way more that amount of sugar in one serving. And what our body does is that it starts secreting a lot of the hormone insulin in order to push this extra sugar out of our bloodstream into the cells. And this huge amount of insulin release causes a crash of sugar because all of the sugar is now down into the blood, into the cells, and our blood sugar falls below very fast. So you have probably noticed that after a very high rush of sugar, there is a crash. Like if you're hungry in the morning, you haven't had a proper breakfast or proper food that contains enough fiber and protein and good fats, and you had something sweet, then a couple of hours or even less time after eating that, you're again feeling hungry and you're feeling dizzy, and you really need to get something else in your body to get your energy up. And that is what we call the roller coaster of sugar, and that is what we call something that actually is sugar dependence or carbohydrate dependence. So what does that do? Now we have this extra amount of insulin and too much sugar. In the long run, is going to cause type 2 diabetes and heart disease and different kind of inflammatory diseases in the body, because sugar by nature is inflammatory. It causes a lot of infections in the body, just because anything sweet is a good home for all different kind of viruses and fungi and bacteria. It really wipes out all of the good bacteria from our gut and then leaves those ones that they crave sugar. So a lot of times it has been found that if you have a bad microbiome, basically a colon that is unhealthy, it actually craves sugar and then have you go for more sugar in the long run. And this is something that we need to correct. And also it causes aging. I mean, aging of the skin, aging of the, sagging of the skin, and everything else in our body is just something that we don't want. But the fact is that it is the hardest thing to do, and all of us, if we just have a feeling that our body needs sugar and carbohydrates in order to have energy, which is a wrong perception. And once we put sugar aside and we replace it, we always have to replace it with something else in order for our body to start getting used to this new routine without any deprivation. Now we're going to replace this sugar and carbohydrate with very nutritionally dense fats, which are very natural fats that our ancestors actually had them in their diets, and they never had this much carbohydrates and sugar that we had. They had maybe one meal a day. They used to go on for hours and hours working without even feeling that they needed to have some kind of snack in their backpack or in their purse to keep them going. It's just a matter of new kind of lifestyles that we think now is normal, which is not. We got to shift our bodies back to what is actually normal, removing all this sugar that causing all these sicknesses and disease, and bringing back those fundamental nutrients and those good fats, and bring back those moderate amount of proteins, and bring back a lot of vegetables and a lot of fresh things that can actually give us enough fiber. And that's when our body can dial back in and start changing and shifting the metabolism from sugar burning into fat burning, and that is our salvation into health.